Today we're going to talk about solving rational equations. Okay, there are two different types of equations we're going to look at. We're going to look at ones that end up being linear and ones that end up being quadratic. So the first thing we're going to look at are the linear ones. So we're going to have all these set up as a proportion, which means that you have two fractions set equal to each other. So our steps are to first to cross multiply. Then secondly, we're going to get the variable on one side, so it looks like a regular equation, and then we're just going to solve either the one or two step equation. So our first example, we have 9 divided by 6 equals x divided by 10. So this is a proportion because we have two fractions set equal to each other. So our first step is to cross multiply. So we're going to start with the left numerator and multiply to the right denominator. So we're going to say 9 times 10 is 90. Then we're going to put our equals, and then we're going to go the other direction. 6 times x will give us 6x. Now, that just looks like an equation, a normal equation, so we're just going to divide so we can solve. So 90 equals 6x, so we'll divide both sides by 6 because that's what's with the variable. X equals, so 90 divided by 6 is 15. So x equals 15. Okay, so example 2, we have 4 divided by m minus 8 equals 8 divided by 2. So same thing, we're just going to cross multiply. Start with the top numerator and multiply to the bottom denominator. So 4 times 2 is 8 equals, and then we'll go the other direction. So m minus 8, the quantity of m minus 8 times 8. So notice down here we had two terms. So we're going to have to say 8, since it's a single term, all multiplied by the quantity of m minus 8. Okay, now we're going to solve this, because now we have a linear equation. So we're going to distribute first. So 8 times m is 8m. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64 equals 8. And then we're going to add 64 to each side. So 8 plus 64 is 72 equals 8m. Then we will divide to get the variable by itself. So we'll divide by 8. And we'll have m equals, so 72 divided by 8 is 9. M equals 9. So example 3, we have 7 divided by 9 equals b divided by the quantity of b minus 10. So cross multiply top numerator to the bottom denominator. So 7 times this whole quantity. So 7 times the quantity of b minus 10 equals, go the other direction, 9 times b, so 9b. Okay, now we have a linear equation. So we'll distribute first. So 7 times b is 7b. 7 times negative 10 is negative 70 equals 9b. We want to get our variables on one side. So I'm going to subtract 7b. That way this will cancel. So we'll have negative 70 equals 9b minus 7b is 2b. And then for our last step, we're going to divide. So we'll divide by 2. This will cancel. So b equals, so negative 70 divided by 2 is negative 35. b equals negative 35. So our last example that we're going to look at today, 4 divided by n plus 2 equals 7 divided by n. So cross multiply. So 4 times n is 4n equals, go the other direction, n plus 2 times 7. So we're going to put the single term first, which is 7, multiplied by the two terms, n plus 2. Okay, then we're going to distribute. So 7 times n is 7n. 7 times 2 is 14 equals 4n. Now this time I'm going to subtract the 7n first, since this 4n over here is already by itself. So I'm going to subtract 7n. So 4 minus 7 is negative 3n equals 14. Okay, and then for our last step, we'll divide by negative 3, since it's with a variable. So n equals, now here, this doesn't divide evenly. 3 won't go into 14 evenly, so I'm just going to leave it improper. So negative 14 divided by 3 would be our answer.